Hi, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your November 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Gemini be affected by the November 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Death card, which is important because we have the Sun in Scorpio. So Scorpio energy is coming through very powerfully here. Now, if we have Scorpio within our natal chart or within our lives, they're going to come through very powerfully at our root. We can find that part of our personality comes out more and more at our root self. And then we have the death card, the Lovers card. So we have the Death card and the Lovers card. So the Lovers card represents us. We're represented by the Lovers in the major arcana. We're represented by the Swords in the minor arcana. So we're going to have this very powerful draw to this moon, but also to this lunar eclipse that is happening on the 19th of November. Also, this moon is just going to affect us more so than other moons do. We have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have the Star, which is Aquarius energy. So if we have Aquarius within our natal chart or within our lives, they're coming through much more powerfully in our inner self. Nine of Pentacles, appreciating the prosperity that we're in. The Six of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This full moon is in Taurus. We're going to see it as a catalyst for us in many ways. And then we have the Ace of Swords, us being given a gift by God's source spirit. However you see the divine, the universe, cutting through doubts and fears, embracing what we desire within our lives, also knowing our voice and our mind more and more. Just listening to the way spirit connects with us is going to be very powerful for us during this time. And then we have the public arena self. We have the Ace of Wands and we have the Page of Wands. So we have new adventures and new opportunities coming to us in the public arena from this full moon. And we also have the Page of Wands, us being a student of this time, taking in this information, knowing how to move us forward, knowing how to, embrace and go after what it is that we desire, but looking at things in such a different way than we have before. It's almost like we're breaking the rules, but, for us, for us Gemini, we don't really like rules. We don't really like it like when they say, oh, it has to be just like this or it has to be just like that. This is going to be a time we sit there and say, why can't I just step out of the box or the norm and step into me? That's going to be very powerful. Now let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. We have the Princess of Pentacles. Now, we can have a lot of ideas about how to accumulate wealth. So that is going to be one of the things that we have to be mindful of. We can be a little bit too excitable during this time and just think, oh my gosh, I'm just going to jump. I'm just going to go for it. We have to think things through just a little bit. But this is also going to be with other people. They could be like, oh, could you back me? Could you help me? Could you listen to this idea, or oh, I just need a little bit of a loan, even if it's just a few dollars. We have to make sure that we're not being conned. And I don't know why that's coming through. And it could be one very specific message for a very specific person, but it's just making sure that the person has thought things through more so than they have. It's just like, okay, well, let's think about this. Let's look at this. Let's make sure we're based in reality. That's going to be very important for us during this time. And it doesn't mean that other people can't think that it's a silly idea, and yet we see the potential in it. But what it means is that when we get that little voice that says, oh, wait, hold on, wait, things need to be more balanced, we need to listen to it, because we're slowly and steadily building a very prosperous and very bountiful future for ourselves. Let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. So we have two, and I love this. We have the soul star chakra, which is the universal light, and we have the earth chakra, the earth star chakra, which is Mother Earth. Now, with this full moon, it is in Taurus. So we're connected with the earth more so than we are almost at any other point in time, especially if we're born on the cusp with Taurus, or if we have earth sign energy within our chart. This is a time where we really need ourselves to be grounded, really need ourselves to be centered. With the universal light coming forward, there's a sense of beauty around us. There is this sense of calm, of centering, of if I embrace this lunar eclipse, if I embrace the fact of, the obscuring of light, but the enhancement of power within me, even though I cannot see everything fully or the way that I thought things would be, all of a sudden we start to step into ourselves if we let ourselves shine. And then we need to connect with the earth. We just do. And we need to connect with the earth, not in that kind of way where, oh, I'm going to be the earth mother, because we usually see that as the person who is giving and loving and caring and nurturing and almost sacrifices themselves for the other person, for other people's dreams. And it's kind of like the giving tree. And what we're seeing here is not to be the giving tree, not to sacrifice ourselves completely for somebody else's ambitions. But what we're seeing is that the earth mother is not only the nurturer, the food that goes into us, but she is also the tornadoes and the hurricanes and the earthquakes. She's ferocity. So we're embracing and being told to embrace the fierce part of our nature and the loving, nurturing part of our nature, and knowing that both of these have a place and a power within our world. Now, this is an astrological as well as tarot reading. So let us talk about the astrology of the 19th of November, the lunar eclipse in Taurus, this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. So everything is more intense when there is a lunar eclipse, and that's what we're going to be feeling at this time. This time is more intense for us, and we can feel it at our root. It's a sense of, this really impacts me. This is really, intensely powerful for me. So as in all full moons, the sun is opposite the moon, which brings with it all relationships into sharp focus. They bring them all into focus within our lives. And we're looking at these relationships. And this is going to be a time where we can heal things that need to be healed. We can kind of, state things that need to be stated. This is going to be a time where it's making us aware of the opposing forces within our relationships, but also within our lives, work and home, wants and needs, our wants and other people's wants, and our needs and other people's needs. So we're going to be looking for a way to really balance these, or even if they can be balanced. A full moon is also a time where we can start to say, you know what, that person's path is so absolutely different than my path that I need to step into myself more and more and not really worry about the way that they're walking forward. That could be for some of us during this time, revelations that come forward. We're also going to be a lot more emotionally aware and more spiritually and personally plugged into our wants and needs. This is a time where we start saying, I matter. I matter and I'm showing up for me. A lunar eclipse represents the resetting of our emotions and a clearing away of the baggage that we've been carrying for the last 6 months, which is absolutely needed. This is kind of like pressing the restart button. And as we press the restart button, we start to step into ourselves. We start to step into ourselves more and more. We have passion here. We also have the student mentality, but also we can find ourselves being guided by a child who is a fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They open up a new door for us. They push us in a way or have us thinking about something that we never thought of before. We didn't think we could walk that way. So just be aware of this during this time. The full moon is in Taurus, which is the second sign in the zodiac, and this means that is naturally linked to the second house, which represents the material things, material life, food, bodies, well-being. We have this coming through very strongly at our heart with the Knight of Pentacles. So as we're looking at things during this time, we're being told to pay attention to the quality, not the quantity of things, the quality of our life, the quality of the way that we're moving forward, the quality of what we desire. The sun is in Scorpio, which is the 8th sign in the zodiac, and this means that it is naturally linked to the 8th house, which is a house of regeneration and death. So we have that coming through very powerfully here at our root, this regeneration and death, this door to another world opening to us. So we can get a little bit spooked out when we hear death coming forward, the death card coming into our lives, or even the 8th house coming into our lives, because we can think, oh no, I don't want that. But what it's showing is a dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. Very much linked to the imagery of the phoenix rising from the ashes. But what we're going to have here is this sense of, I am transformed. I am embracing this transformation, and I can even be mourning who I once was or how I once thought my life would go, because a lot of times we make these assumptions of our lives when we're teenagers, and then as we're growing, as we're aging, we could think, oh my gosh, I didn't meet that time requirement or that time requirement. And Spirit's saying here, let go of your own clock and step into mine. All right. So what we're going to see here is that as the second house in Taurus have us focus on the material world, the 8th house and Scorpio have us connecting with the spiritual world and the esoteric side to life. These two needs come together and they need to balance themselves. Taurus in the second house also has us linked to Mother Earth, which is coming through very strongly for us, especially in a chakra way, in a way that aligns the energy of our bodies and souls and what we are earning. It comes into alignment and links us to Mother Earth and what we are earning and our ability to provide for ourselves. So certain things can be coming into focus. We can have new business ideas, which is actually something that's going to come up during this time. I highly recommend a little notebook or, keeping a tab open on your phone to talk in new ideas, because you're going to kind of hit gold on one of them. While Scorpio and the 8th house have us linked to the banks and how we are able to save once everything is cared for. So it doesn't have to be that it's actually the banks, but it's providing, it's saving, it's building up that sense of security. Now, as for more planetary alignments, we have the moon squared Jupiter, which brings hopefulness and enthusiasm into our lives, though it also amplifies our emotional response to things. Now, we are already emotionally tuned in, and now our emotions are amplified. So we have to be very mindful of our hearts and our emotional reactions, because we're going to find that we react very quickly to certain things and very intensely to things that we might have let slide during other times. We can have a tendency towards moodiness, towards irritability, towards carelessness. So just be mindful of this, that a lot can be coming at us and we might feel just a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like, leave me alone. I want to just be with myself, connect with what is intrinsically important to me, find that out again. We are going to be told that we are being told that we are adopting an attitude of gratitude. So what Spirit is telling us is to adopt an attitude of gratitude and to spiritually, not materialistically, connect with our world. So this can be a time where we're going to think, oh, well, if I acquire this, or if I do this, or if I go there, that would make everything better. But Spirit's saying, if I can stand within myself and feel at peace. That's going to be the biggest change that we need during this time. Jupiter also urges us to expand our horizons and be mindful not to let greed take over, because this is going to be a time where we could easily fall into greed because we have so much going for us and we're looking at the material accumulation and we're going to think more is better, because that's how we are as human beings. More is better. But Spirit's saying here, no, be balanced. Now the moon is trine Pluto, which brings spiritual and emotional sensitivity, as well as enhancing and bringing into focus our psychic perception and our psychic ability to move forward in things. Now, with Pluto coming through and the moon being trine Pluto, we're going to see that it also affects us very powerfully because Pluto rules Scorpio. All right. So what we're going to see here is that we're starting to have an innate understanding of things, and we need to listen to it. There's a subconscious urge for us to evolve as ourselves, as our spirit desires, really listen to our spiritual self. And there's going to be an empowering energy through Jupiter to help us achieve our goals and align ourselves with our karmic destiny. Now, the eclipse aspect, pattern of this time is the alignment of the sun, the moon, Jupiter, and Pluto, which creates a quadrilateral. Okay, I don't say that perfectly, but that's better than I've been able to say it before. So just go with me. Know that this creates the animated figure. Now, just as the name suggests, it puts things into motion. It gives life to things. And what we're going to find here is that things don't happen easily or all at once, but it does bring things to the surface that need to be brought to the surface physically, mentally, psychically, spiritually, letting us tap into this energy. Our imagination and our perseverance is going to be tuned here to get the job done, to go after what we want, what we need, where it is that we need to be. Just be mindful, because we're all going to have this tendency to think, all right, it's either all or nothing. Either you're 189% in or you just don't care. So this is going to be a time where we have to be a little bit nicer to ourselves and not as intense to judge others by the standard that we tend to be holding ourselves to at this time, because they're going to be holding themselves to this exacting standard also, but it's going to be with the things that are just all-encompassing for them at this time. Now, let's talk about the fixed star Algog. So Algog, A-L-G-O-L, okay, is the fixed star. I find this star astoundingly hard to say, but it represents the head in the constellation of Medusa, who was killed by Perseus. So what happens here is that, undramatically, okay, this star is known as the most evil star in the heavens. I mean, seriously, that's a lot to live up to. So this star has a tendency towards violence, it has a tendency towards extremes, and it has a tendency towards misfortune. So be careful, okay? Keep your energy at a high energy vibration, or else this star comes for you. It just kind of has us all losing our heads. So we can be as empowered, as invigorated, as focused, as spiritually aware, and the star comes in and just kind of knocks us off our game. So be aware of that. Don't fall into the trap of greed, because Algog just absolutely takes advantage, and this becomes something that we'll regret. It will become something that we look back on and be like, why the heck did I do this? Why the heck did I make that choice or move forward that way? So just be aware, just really connect with your heart and yourself. Now, at our root, we have the death card. We have the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. We see that we're absolutely connected with the 8th house and Scorpio, with this sense of our own spiritual connection, this sense of regeneration, rebirth, dying away of the old self, this connection with what we truly desire and how we're opening the doors to this world. And this has us focusing on ourselves, but it also has us focusing with the moon trine Pluto, with the energy of Pluto and our psychic perception, our enhanced emotions, our being able to be powerful with our subconscious self and our emotional connection to what we want in the world. It leads us to the lovers. It leads us to ourselves. And it leads us to seeing not what the world wants us to see, not what we think we're supposed to see. It leads us to seeing ourselves as we are and what we desire from life as it is. We can actually find out some intense truths during this time that make us look at things differently. We could have been judging ourselves very harshly, and now we're saying, but look at how far you came. Look how much you've been through. Why not care for yourself? Why not love yourself the way you would care and love for a stranger? Why not do that for you at this time. We're falling in love not with the expectation of love, not with the delusion of love. We're falling in love with loving ourselves, with loving the world around us. We're also being very aware of the trap that all Geminis have. So the trap that we have, Gemini, is that we want everybody to love us, including ourselves. But we can be very malleable, very much a sense of, well, I'll just be what that person wants me to be, and I'll just be what that person wants me to be. And then we'll get fed up because we don't take nonsense very well. And we'll just think, well, what do I want me to be? Or, just enough with this, I'm walking away from it. And it's because we're not being true to ourselves. It's because we're almost apologizing for our existence. And what Spirit is saying here in the inner self, it's like, embrace the glory of who we are now. Now, we might be on a long, hard road. We might be smack dab in the middle of harsh times, bleak times, times when the world is just outlined in gray. And yes, the world has been outlined in gray recently because of all the chaos, everything that goes on. But we're seeing that we're releasing so much of the negativity acquired and holding on to us for the last 6 months, and probably more so than that. What we're going to be looking at is, how do I celebrate me? How do I know that, yes, there's going to be hard work to come and long hours to come, but this is my heart, this is my soul, this is my passion, this is what I desire. And that's when we start to see the stars shining within us. And what's so beautiful about this with the star is that we're embracing what we love, we're embracing who we are, we're seeing our wants and our needs come forward. Now, the star gives us what we need, not necessarily what we cross our fingers for and wish for and want, but it's that moment of elation where we feel set free. It's that moment of, there's more coming here, and there's more coming to me than I had imagined or than meets the eye as I'm led forward, as I'm led to what I desire within my life. There's also a sense of, I've been working so hard for this. I've been working so hard for this, and I can release so much of the negativity, the harshness, the pain, the hurt that has held me back, that has silenced me, that has kept me from moving forward the way that I need to and the way that I want to. The star brings us our dreams, but it says to us that they're going to be intense, because a lot of times as we take our dreams, as we embrace what we really want in this world, it terrifies us. Because what if we fail? What if it doesn't work out? Or what if we have to replicate what we have dreamt of time and time again? It's kind of like, what if you make that perfect cake and people absolutely rave about it, but you have to make it again? And what if your energy just isn't the same that day, and that little bit of magic, that little bit of the spark of ourselves that goes into it just isn't there? And so the cake doesn't taste as good, and people are like, oh, well, it's not as good today as it was yesterday. Do we let that crush us? Or do we say, well, I have tomorrow, and I have the centering within myself to be able to move forward in? It's having the sweetness within our lives, but knowing that we'll have off days, knowing that things won't always be or won't be as we imagine them to be. And it's accepting that, and it's embracing our hearts, and it's embracing what we love. And it's finding that balance. It's finding that balance of the waters that run through us. It's finding that balance of the light that shines above us, that our ancestors looked to and saw as guides, saw as brilliance, saw as power. And then it moves us into our emotional self, which is the Six of Pentacles. We need things to be balanced. We just do. We're going to find that certain things in our lives weren't in balance, and we're starting to balance our hearts again. We're also finding that there's wisdom to be shared, and there's a sense of, I can help. There's this sense of, there's this energy around us if we take it in. Now, it can be from earth sign energies. It can be from people who have their feet firmly planted on the ground. They could be more business minded than we are. For those of us Geminis that aren't maybe the most business minded, we're going to see that there's advice that comes forward, and it's like, oh, well, that's what I should be doing to balance those scales, and oh, that's how I should be, marketing this or moving forward this way, or representing myself, or whatever it is that we need to do. But also, it's the confidence that we need to be able to walk forward and to be able to embrace what we desire for. And it brings us to the Knight of Pentacles. It brings us to the sense of, okay, we've called out what isn't balanced. We called out what needs to be balanced. We're centering ourselves more and more, and we're slowly and steadily moving forward in prosperity. Now, the Knight of Pentacles tells us to be patient because we're building a firm foundation, and it takes time for a foundation to set. I was watching one of these home building things, and they were talking about the setting of cement and the fact that it takes a while. And they were building this house on the Isle of Skye, and they said that it became too cold usually for cement to set, but they have this faster acting cement. And the whole point of the story is that we're going to see that sometimes the cement takes a while to set. And sometimes it's too cold, it's too intense. And other times we have that faster acting cement on our side to be able to set and to steady things much more quickly than we had imagined it to be. But it's still going to take time. It's still going to take effort. It's still going to take us being aware and checking in, looking at the seeds that we're planting, looking at what we desire from our lives, but also looking at the lessons that have come our way, the things that show up time and time again, the choices and the, things that we have to do. And we're going to see that it's spirit leading us in a direction that maybe we didn't even know we needed to move in, or we didn't know we might not have wanted it, but now that we're here, it's like, oh wow, this is something that's pretty powerful. This is something that's really shaping me, really helping me grow, really pushing me in a very different direction. And it moves us to embracing our voice, to embracing cutting through doubts and fears and negativity, really knowing the bigger picture of what we want, of where we're going and what we're looking for. God, source, spirit, again, however you see the divine, the universe comes in and is handing us this gift of insight and ideas, is handing us this gift of there is more to you than meets the eye. Embrace the power of your voice, embrace your throat chakra, embrace your mind, embrace your crown chakra, embrace the way that you are perceiving and embracing and looking and feeling this world, because we have then the other gift of the Ace of Swords coming into play. And this one we take without hesitation. Now we have the air sign energies of Aquarius and Gemini coming in of ourselves, right? So we do take this gift, but they're not of the same deck, okay? So what it is that we take these gifts and we take them in a big way because they're major arcana cards, but we don't take them in the same way as we take the Ace of Wands. This is a new adventure. This is a new endeavor started. This is some passionate fire lit within us that moves us forward in a way that we hadn't expected, hadn't thought of, and needed to embrace. And all of a sudden, we're moving towards something bigger than we thought we could have in our lives. We're moving towards something that gives us fire and passion because, again, this is God's source spirit, however we see the divine, the universe, handing us this gift, opening up this door, and we take it as a student. We could also be given this gift through the passionate eyes of a child. So we can find ourselves inspired in a way that we didn't expect to be through seeing things from a new perspective, from a new idea. And this has us moving towards what we want. It's the innocence of the new adventure coming forward. It's the innocence of, well, why not try? Why not go after it? Why not embrace it? And it moves us then to really connecting with the moon and saying in the public arena, I'm more than what I have been, telling myself I am. I'm more than others have been doubting me as. I'm finding this balance within my life, and I'm embracing the very essence of me and not anybody else. And it moves us to the message that the moon has for us. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. So at our root, the full moon comes in and it says surrender to the divine. And the full moon comes in again. So we have ourselves connected with the lunar aspect of this full moon. The light reflecting off the moon is the light of Scorpio, right? Is the sun, is that Scorpio energy. And we have that coming through very powerfully here at our root. Excuse me. And so we're being told here, surrender to the divine. That is where our power is. This is going to be a time of tremendous power for us. We already saw that within the span and the scope of what the tarot is telling us, but now the moon is just amplifying this. It moves us then to our inner selves, and we have will. And it's a time to give rather than take. And will we? Will we? I mean, it's almost coming through as a question here. It's a time to give rather than take. Will we give of the energy to this moon? Will we give of the surrender? Will we look at the way that we're being called to move forward and embrace it? And it moves us to our subconscious emotional self. Not our subconscious, our lunar emotional self, which is the full moon eclipse, which is exactly what we're in right now. My goodness. And that's linked to Taurus, which we have the earth energy of the Knight of Pentacles coming through. So that's huge. It's just absolutely huge emotionally. And it says conclusions are within reach, balance. And we're looking at the Six of Pentacles, which has things kind of out of balance, finding that balance, searching for that balance, calling things out that are unfair. And then we say conclusions are within reach. This is what balances me. This is what brings me forward. And it brings us then to our public arena self, which is a personal issue reaches resolution. Self-love. A personal issue reaches resolution, and that's what Spirit was telling us to focus on, the love of ourselves. The heart of a Gemini is to love ourselves, is to connect with the love and the passion that we have, not trying to be everything to everyone else so that they love us. And so here, that comes through astoundingly powerfully and positively. Now let's see what our subconscious Luna message is. And it's a fiery climax approaches, which is Aries energy. Blossoming. We are blossoming into ourselves. So a fiery climax approaches as we are blossoming into the person, into the power that we were born to. Because remember, this is also linking us with our karmic destiny. And as we're embracing our karmic destiny, we're embracing ourselves. This moon has us so intertwined with our karmic destiny. It's unbelievable. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is Taurus. Okay? It's the fact that this full moon is in Taurus. It's the fact that this full moon affects us so powerfully that we have to be mindful of its energy. We have to be mindful of being a little bit too materialistic. We have the Princess of Pentacles, which is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have Taurus energy coming through with the High Priest, the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite Smith deck. We're going to find that we can be very money focused. We can be very earthbound focus, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting things to be safe and secure and prosperous and powerful. What it can do is it can become all-consuming and make us worry and fretful and overwhelmed by things that might very well be out of our control. It moves us then to our subconscious chakra energy, which is abundance, which is the root chakra. We are being called to abundance. We are being called to thrive. It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy, which is the Hierophant, Taurus energy. So, oh my gosh, do we not have the sun and the moon shining through here? And we absolutely do. It's going to be easier for us to see things in the light of day. Okay, the sun energy comes through very powerfully, but the moon energy comes through subconsciously. So we're going to be led to things that are just calling to us astrologically. It's kind of like the heavens have aligned this for us. It moves us to our subconscious inner selves, which is the Four of Wands reversed. So here we have this energy of almost feeling like nothing is settled. We're not subconsciously, we're going to, like, it's not the happily ever after, right? Because here we have the wedding, right? And we have the sense of everything is secure. Now, be it the Hierophant is the major arcana wedding card. So if we're worried and thinking, oh my gosh, I'll never get married, or, my relationship's going to fall apart, that's not the case. What it is here is that we might be feeling restless. We might be feeling like we need an adventure. We might be feeling like things need to change, but we're going through that change period, and we're not going through that, okay, I'm going to go to this step now. Like, I'm going to move into this job, or I'm going to move into this house. What we're going to see is I want to change jobs, or I want to move house, or I want something different. And now I'm going to be investigating it, going after it, looking at it, seeing it, and knowing that there's just going to be this sense of unrest a little bit subconsciously that we're going to be looking at and honoring within us. Our subconscious emotional self is the Death card. It's that Scorpio energy, again, the 8th house coming through so powerfully for us that it's a sense of transformation. We're going to find that we connect quite beautifully with the spiritual world. Here it is the god of death, and he has the white dogs with the red ears in Welsh mythology are the dogs of of the Fae world. So we're going to be connecting with the Fae world, the fairy world, the spirit world, the other world. And that's going to be just such a powerful part of us. We can find that if we let ourselves daydream, if we let ourselves, embrace daydreams, that we can walk into this kind of alternate understanding, this kind of inspiration. But we have to listen. We have to listen and not think that we know, because this is a time of discovery. It moves us then to our subconscious public arena, and that's the Fool. That is the Fool. And in the public arena, as we have all these blessings coming forward, as we have, the Ace of Wands and we are the Page of Wands, where we're searching and discovering and looking and becoming, we are going to be embracing that journey. It's like, I need that adventure. This is new beginnings. We have new adventures with the Ace of Wands. And what Spirit is saying here is go for it. So Spirit is saying here, take that risk. Now, it's not putting ourselves in financial difficulty. It's not, being foolish with it, but it is saying, I have to take this leap for me. And it might be, as we're taking this leap, we might be working 2 jobs or more than 2 jobs, or we might find ourselves just stretched so thin. But what Spirit is telling us, if we don't take the risk on ourselves, who the heck will? And it's knowing that it will be frustrating, and it's seeing ourselves as being frustrated and overwhelmed, but it's seeing ourselves overcome that hurdle and overcome every hurdle to be thrown our way to get to the place that we want to be within our lives, to get to the end goal of absolute success. And that's what we're headed towards. Because remember, every single hero, every single entrepreneur, every single person who deviates from the norm is considered a fool. And if they succeed, well, they're heroes, and they're brilliant, and they're absolute successes. So let's embrace that success. All right, Gemini. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this full moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Gemini, and may you have a blessed moon.